Oh, yeah, we're here this morning and we're having a morning of love. And if you've got a chicken to eat, that's more socially acceptable than Dove. 'Cause it's love morning time to share gratitude and love. And if you're pissed about the Dove reference, well, strike me down from above. It's love morning, love morning, love morning with you. Do, 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 do. Good morning. Welcome to Love Morning. I am John Halcyon Stin. I try to make up a song every morning when I start. It's kind of loosens up, it gets me a little scared and nervous, and present with you in this moment so we can share gratitude and connection and remember that we're not alone in the world. And ideally, feel that connection enough so that as we go into the world, we can be ambassadors of that and we can offer that little openness as a role modeling, as an olive branch, as a permission slip to other people who have a desire to be more connected and more open, but get knocked down by that world. Not in the Chumbawamba way, but in the way of feeling that openness and connection is vulnerable and it's just easier to stay to ourselves, to avoid judgment by a selfish world. Well, there is some selfishness in the world, and there is magic and beauty and curiosity and wonderful people. And if you stay closed, you miss it all. So good morning. If you're here and you would like to leave a comment, a question, share some gratitude, that would be so delicious. That would help us all to feel your presence and your connection. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, and then archived on the two. So if you're watching this recording, hi, hello to you from this moment to that moment. Before I greet everyone and say hello, well, maybe, you know what am I talking about? Let's just say hello now and say, hello, Natasha. And hello, Jessica. And hello, Razorblade. Hello to you. Hello to you. Yes, and it is a surprise. Surprise! I'm here. I thought I was going to be offline for 10 days, but I went to Utopia, which I'll speak to a little bit. I returned late last night, and my next trip got postponed. So I'm here for the time being. So we will be continuing doing Love Mornings this week. Yeah! Yay! So thanks for spending this morning with us. Hello to you in Kentucky, Lori. Danielle is in Vegas. Good morning, Danielle. I know Razorblade is in Australia. Hello, Lori and Lorian and Celie. Hi, Celie. Good morning to you. Danielle is grateful for community and for this broadcast. Thank you. Were you here right when I started and saw my cool shades that I wore this weekend? Dun, 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 dun. Natasha says, I had so many sweet examples of knowing I'm not alone in this world this week when I posted about my anxiety and depression. A friend brought us dinner one night. A couple different neighbors offered to take my kiddo off my hands for a few hours. Others sent me direct messages of support and with words of inspiration. I am so grateful. Isn't that so beautiful and true? And such a good reminder that when we are in our places, that we are maybe not in our strength. It feels so scary and hard to say so. And yet, friends know that friends aren't always in their best, strongest places. No one judges you because you are depressed or having anxiety. And if you open your heart and let people, I think there are people that want to help. And that's so beautiful that you had that help and that you're sharing with us so that we can have these more examples that we are the people in this world. We are the neighbors. Won't you be my neighbor? Lisa told me something last night when we were talking. Her therapist shared this really, I think, incredible idea, which is that, or just awareness of we often have shame about our dysregulation. And the problem is the shame, not the dysregulation. It's totally normal to get dysregulated. It's totally normal to be triggered. It's totally normal to be anxious or have a depression bout. But the shame is really problematic. And when we have the shame, we are not available for the help. We don't offer the help. We don't speak it. We don't, we hide it. And I really feel like part of this Hug Nation kind of community and energy is about trying to remember that, gratitude, life's amazing. And within all of that is the truth, which is sometimes things aren't great. There are parts of it that suck and are hard and we struggle. I really feel like I try to share that as much of that as possible. And I was talking with Lisa about this last night, that it's cathartic for me. If I can share with you something that is difficult, that I'm not proud of or shouldn't be proud of, but I can share it openly, there's a service aspect to that, to saying like, hey, no, this is the truth. Let's not be afraid to be judged for this thing. It just is. Let go of the shame of it, and there's so much more fluidity, so much more ease when all you have is the issue and not the shame around the issue. I'll give you an example. So, I am experiencing eczema right now. I am flaky scalp, flaky my face, and so it was, I grew up, I don't know about you, but thinking dandruff was like pretty damn shameful, pretty embarrassing. Those Head and Shoulders commercials going like, oh, looks like you need Head and Shoulders. So, I can't believe I'm even wearing dark clothes right now, because like if I got out of my car right now and was about to go into a store, before I would go in the store, I would go like this to try to get the flakes off of my shirt. I was talking with Lisa, and I was like, I'm really experiencing eczema, which I learned. I thought eczema was a condition, and I could go to the doctor and they could give me, here's a pill to cure eczema. And they said, no, eczema is just describes the condition of having dry skin and flakiness. You still got to figure out what's causing it and then address that. And I'm like, I want a pill to fix it. But Lisa was saying, well, you have been having dairy creamer, and it's true, I have not been watching my dairy. I did have a big old cheese quesadilla on the way to the event, and so she's like, well, I could adjust my diet and try to fix this, or here's where my genius comes in, or I could try to change societal beliefs and try to make flakiness cool and say a real man leaves a trace. A real man leaves a trail wherever he goes. Head and Shoulders, take that back. Okay, so that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to work on my dairy and see if that works. See, I thought, and I've been having ice cream too, but because I don't have lactose trouble unless I eat a lot of dairy, which after that quesadilla, I was a squeaky, gassy person. Good thing I was camping by myself. But even so, I generally feel if I have a little bit of lactose, a little bit of dairy, I'm okay. Obnoxious in a gassy way, but not livable. And sometimes the cheese quesadilla is worth it. But perhaps the magic pill to stop this shedding of my essence onto the world is to remove dairy more completely. So that is my quest, my undertaking, my challenge to myself. And in saying so, do I feel embarrassed that I just confessed to having dandruff? Old teenage me would be devastated in shame right now. But you know what? This is Human John, and Human John is an incredible thing. It's just Human John has some things that work better than others, and some things that don't always work, and sometimes it falls apart, and sometimes it loses track of its majesty. That's okay. And in community, you can be reminded much quicker of your perfection exactly as you are. And in that acceptance, the struggles are relieved much quicker. I've realized that my downtimes, I still struggle with depression and anxiety, but wow, they are so much more under control, so much briefer, so much more like being knocked instead of being held down. And I think a big part of that is letting go of the shame around it. And accepting this is part of humaning. Let's not get too attached to it. Let's let it flow through instead of like, this feels terrible. Let's write a report about it. Let's build a house around it. And let's figure out how we can change the world to make this feeling of terribleness all make sense. Like, no. Let's not trust the brain. Let's recognize that this is a super flawed tool and it's malfunctioning right now. So let go of the instruments, park the car, and just let the storm pass. Walk outside for a bit. Or in the case of dandruff, knock out the dairy. And I think Lisa will be happy about the reduced gas as well. So it's win-win-win. Except for the fashion magazines that were really hoping to run that headline. Leave a trail, manly men. Dandruff is where the fall season is headed. Good morning. If you're here, I welcome you. Welcome, Dow Girl. And welcome, Chris. Hello. And Liz, good morning. Good morning, Carlene and Stacy and Kiri and Faith. And Kiri said it's a win-win, not a win-wind. Kiri, you're witty. Not only are you a wonderful human, but you are a witty one too. Okay. Stacy says, come to Cosmic Burn in June 2024. CNY. What's CNY? Central New York? Ithaca. That is Central New York, right? Look at me, geographically wise. Well, June 10th. If it's cool, I think I'm gonna seek out events now where it's sweatawetta. I want to be able to. If I want sweatawetta, I no longer want to be wearing shirtless during the daytime. I want to be like my elbow and bicep are achy because of constant carrying an umbrella during Utopia because it was just hot. I got to go to a festival with lots of fun people and tons of art and creativity, and I was too hot. Okay, I hear how I sound. Carlene says, I do enjoy the quiet of my mind. I was at a time very outgoing and always the life of the party. Now I feel safe and grateful. I love being a part of you and this group. Thank you, Carlene. I had a lot of talks about that this weekend, about shifting identities. You know, I was sober for the weekend, and that is a different experience than any Utopia I've done in the past. And what was really, I think, wonderful, I talked to many people who were very curious about my choices. Quite a few who I think are aware that they need to make some changes. That was where I was at. Like, it worked for me until it didn't. You know, whether it's the number of years or the toll on your body or losing control of some habits, a lot of people at some point go, I'm not sure if this is working for me. This isn't serving me. And so I got a lot of conversations. And, you know, as Carlene says, you know, you initially what feels like, okay, I have to give up this thing that is so awesome. And it is awesome. And it makes room for something that is a different type of wonderful. Thank you, Carlene. Jessica says, when you can recognize that you are deregulated, you hold the power and understanding that this feeling and state of being will pass as everything will and does. Exactamundo. Yes. That is very hard, though. Like, those words are big. You know, it's like when you are a fish recognizing, oh, I'm wet. Because when you're in it, when you're too... It's like Alan Watts says, like, you can't see your eye. You know, you can use a mirror to do it. So what are the tools that you can use to be the mirror so that you can get out of your head and see, oh, I am thinking in a wrong way? And that can be a big challenge. The first thing that came to my mind as a trick that I use is if I use always never language, then I am in a story. And what I was realizing recently is the more grounded I am, the less conviction I have about anything. If I am truly balanced and healthy, then you could be right. That could be true. Perhaps that is right. I don't know. Maybe. This feels authentic to me right now. This seems to resonate, but perhaps, I don't know. If I'm dysregulated, it's like, this never works. This sucks. I can't do this. It's like, oh. Or the certainty is another way that I can tell that if I'm in my divinity or if in my flawed humanness. Liz says, come to the UK. It's always cold here. You know what? I've never been to the UK. Liz says, hope everyone is excited for Halloween, which now I can get excited for since I have a week to prepare for it. I'm gonna use my dander to my advantage, and I'm gonna go as a snowstorm, and I'm just gonna wear a shirt with pictures of trees on it, and I'm gonna just go. See, I'm a snowstorm. Liz is excited to go to Scarefest. I would never go to Scarefest. I don't like gory things. I don't like haunted houses. Do not like it. Hello, Gerbot. Gerbot, I think I just made a clip from Thursday's video. Actually, in the evening at Utopia, I really enjoy the daytimes. The nighttimes I didn't connect as much. It's more of a party time. Uh-oh. I think I may have lost the page. Well, we'll see if it's still broadcasting. But on Friday night, I took a break from walking and wandering around and all the festivities, and I brought my computer and I video edited. And I edited the videos from Thursday where we were talking here about addiction, and I found some really beautiful clips. And I think, actually no, maybe it wasn't. I can't remember. Somebody shared about their ketamine treatment and how helpful it was, and then they apologized because I had mentioned that I had a problem with ketamine previously. And I said, no, this is a good conversation. There's good and bad. So I was editing that while at a festival. I've never done that. And I used to have like judgment about who would like watch a movie while at Burning Man, who would video edit at Burning Man. And now I know sober people who cannot use chemicals to be social 24/7. Aha. Carlene in New Mexico, thank you for sharing. Curie says, I'm feeling grateful today for feeling expansive and inspired for the first time in a while. I'm so grateful that the lows are not permanent and that they bring many gifts if you're open to receiving them. Thank you, Curie. Ain't that the truth? Faith says, good morning. So grateful to be here and for this gorgeous day. Love from Key West, where we are in the middle of Fantasy Fest. Ooh, I have seen so many fun pictures of, usually for the body painting. Lana Chromium is one of my friends, and I always see the things that she makes. Natasha says, I have a cheese shelf in the fridge. Yeah, I gotta ixnay on the ease, Jay. Good morning, Nicole. Nicole suggesting Frostburn. Of course, I say that as a San Diegan. I probably, the minute I'm in someplace really cold, I'd be like, I don't like this either. Giannis says, Facebook just told me I earned a top fan badge for following me so diligently, which I gladly received. You know me. You see me. Which, by the way, Giannis, my trip next week is canceled, or not canceled, postponed. So maybe we can record a new Stay Sparked this week. Which, by the way, folks here, if you are not subscribed to the Stay Sparked podcasts, I don't even know what to say to you. Oh, I know what I'd say. Hey, subscribe to the Stay Sparked podcast and Hard on the 80s. Stay Sparked personal growth, and it's kind of like this conversation with two other wise, friendly, fun people. We even start with gratitude every week. The other one, Hard on the 80s, actually was great. This week, I had some people came up to me who were listeners of Hard on the 80s, who loved it, which is such a cool feeling, because I find Hard on the 80s super funny, and I enjoy it very much. So but it doesn't have a huge listenership. So if you do listen to it, I would love to know. And if you've got a movie suggestion for us, I think the next one we're going to watch is Flash Gordon, which I have such weird memories of that, so I'm looking forward to it. Okay, I'm going to try something here because it looks like I've got a crashed browser over here. Good morning, Serene. Good morning to you in Chicago. Serene shares, I just survived performing at Daybreaker and the Arts in the Dark parade downtown. So happy to be alive today. Much love to you and hope that you'll be at Loveburn next year. I got a wonderful hug from you once there. Thank you. Yay! There's a good chance that I will return to Loveburn. It is warm there, but at least when I was there, it was breezy and it was rainy one time. So I really enjoy Loveburn. A lot of people, I had a number of talks about Loveburn during Utopia, which is still happening today, but I got back last night from Utopia with the Southern California Regional Burn. Is that going to do that for me? I guess it's not. Let's try this again. Close. And I had a couple experiences, interesting conversations and experiences lately where people have shared criticisms of me, and my memory is not my strongest point. I often meet people repeatedly, and people that I really like will often make a habit of telling me their name every time I see them, which is so, like, thank you. Like, even if I do remember, it's nice for someone to not make it awkward if it doesn't have to be. Like my grandfather, he wore a name tag every day of his life for his last 3 years. Why? Because he said it made the world friendlier, and he lived in a retirement village where so many people had memory struggles that he says, why not just make it easier? Why not just, like, avoid anyone feeling embarrassed that they can't remember my name? Which I thought, what a fucking rad guy he is. Hold on, I gotta try to fix one more thing. But I was mentioning that the I had someone. Oh, I think I already told this morning, or in a love morning, where someone felt that I was a jerk to them at an event where they were going through a really tough time, and they were high on acid, and they came to me hoping that I could offer them comfort. And it was at the burn, and I gave them their explanation was that I gave them my business card, and I told them that I could make their life happy by buying real estate. And I said, no, that was a joke card. It says I'm a surreal estate agent. I was trying to be funny. I mean, I didn't make this excuse. It was just interesting awareness. This is a person who is holding on to the story that I'm a jerk, where I thought that I was giving them a piece of Burning Man performance art, and, and a hug and all the things that I would think would be appropriate for meeting a stranger. And they interpret that as me being a jerk. So, you never know. That's a good example of certainty versus uncertainty. She was certain about what was supposed to happen, and she was certain that I was a jerk. The other possibility is, like, what was going on there that I didn't? How come that didn't feel right? Ooh, Liz suggesting Desperately Seeking Susan. I practice dancing. There's a scene where she goes through a dance club, and there's like a gothy kid going like this, dancing kind of like this, and I thought it was so cool that I practiced that. I think it was, I read a thing that was Madonna's brother that was doing that dance. Back when I read magazines that shared things like that. Gerbot says, I liked your story about being bubbly and loud in the temple and got vibe checked. Yeah, that person was pretty rude about it. But I think it's okay to say, hey, would you mind taking this outside? I'm having a moment, or people are having a moment here. What was another recent thing that happened where someone thought I was a jerk? I don't want to focus on that. Natasha saying that Grandpa Caleb, is the best example of humaning. He really is. It is continually amazing to me how much my life is impacted by my grandpa Caleb. Now, he passed in 2007. I say on behalf of Grandpa Caleb 3 times a day, every day. I just took a ride in the Hugmobile that has his ashes mixed into the wings of the paint job. I talk about him when I'm there. I mentioned his stories all the time. I just reposted the beautiful glass story about him. I wouldn't be this human, even close, without Grandpa Caleb. So let that be a tale of inspiration about how to live forever. You want to make an impact on the world. Shine so bright that people change the way that they shine. Good morning, Pamela. And if you are here and have not said hello yet, please say hello. Good morning. Good to see you. Pamela says, hello from Southwest Florida. I am grateful for the silent discos that I've been going to at South Lido Beach. Grateful for the existence of music, listening to Foghat earlier. So many beautiful music genres. Yeah, there was actually a silent disco at Utopia, and the most populated crowd that I saw at Utopia was like a 70s band. I think they were called the Beatles. Maybe they were playing Beatles. I think they were called the Beatles. I heard them playing a Pink Floyd song, I think. Thanks. Let's see. Tao Girl. Did you pronounce it with a T or a D? Tao Girl. Suggesting Buckaroo Banzai across the 8th dimension. Ooh. Liz saying Modern Girls. And Who's That Girl? So one of the things that when we started it, it was originally called Gratuitous Boobs, and we were going to watch old like sex comedies, like 80s sex comedies that are just so trashy and terrible, and make fun of them. And we found that, well, our goal is to find movies that inspire us to have conversations. So if it's a great movie, that's not the best one to do, because we don't want to make a movie just saying, oh man, that was so funny. Oh, that was so funny. Oh, that was so funny. We want to find things that like we notice as adults that were like, oh my God, I can't believe we thought that was funny. Or, oh my gosh, like maybe I'll talk like that guy in that movie. Do you remember that scene? And we'll talk about it like that. I started dressing that way after that. And then we ask each other a question about our childhoods that the movie inspires. So these are good suggestions. Kai, good morning. Kai says, I'm grateful for the rain. Is this the Kai that did a photo shoot with masks recently? I saw some cool photos. 3 men and a baby. No, that's a good idea. Thanks, Natasha. No, we have not done that. Chris saying, change hearts, change minds. Okay, well, thanks, Kai. Never mind. Look at that. It's 9:30 on a Sunday. For me, it's 9:30. I'm in San Diego, California. It's overcast. It's supposed to be 10 degrees cooler today than it was yesterday, which I am so grateful for that. I am grateful for cooler weather. And I'm grateful for everyone's compassionate ears as I shared my stories of dandruff and flatulence. I had a video years ago I did about an episode of anal itching that was a similar process of like, this is so embarrassing, but you know what? This is what's happening with my body. Which I learned that from Grandpa Caleb, or I was inspired by Grandpa Caleb. There was a time when he had a stint, and he was putting his penis, and he was explaining it to me. He goes, well, so they had to put a stint in my penis, and you know, and I was like, whoa, and he goes, hey, this is gonna be your body someday. It wasn't quite that confrontational, but it was just like, yeah, let me say that again. He was like, it's gonna be your body someday, kind of like, hey, the body grows old, it happens, no shame. And And my other favorite grandpa body no shame story is when I was visiting him. A nurse kind of pulled me aside and said, "Hey, we love having your grandfather here. This week he asked me if we could install a raised toilet seat for him." And I said, "Oh, Mr. Sheichels, are you having trouble standing up and getting off the toilet?" And he said, "No, no, no. My testicles are dipping in the water." Yes. Good morning, Brent. Thank you. This is my custom-made, one-of-a-kind, no urgency hat. Pamela says, one of the most powerful things I have done is a free hugs event. People think you're off your rocker. I don't care. I love making a difference. Hugs are healing. I did a beautiful one years ago, pre-COVID, and have some video of it. It was fun. I definitely enjoyed it. You learn a lot you see a lot of different people and the comfort. Some people are like, yeah, sweet, a free hugs person. Some people are like telling their partner, do it. And they're like, I don't want to do it. And some people's hugs are like, and then some people like legitimately hug you. Gerbot is grateful for this gratitude practice and for all the beautiful souls that are here. Me too. My life is so much richer, and my baseline joy is so much higher because of this practice. So thank you. And I'm having a great time, so we'll spend a few more minutes before we hug. If you've got to go on to your day, please do so. But if you've got more gratitude to share, or you've got a question, or you've got something you're looking forward to, please let me know. I could tell some more stories about Utopia. You want to hear some more about Utopia? Natasha's saying, do you remember the literal bugs in his computer? I barely remember that. He was an adorable man. There's a part of me that would like to skip being 60 and 70 and just go straight to being Grandpa Halcyon. Like, I love walking with my grandpa and him like leaning on my arm and him kind of, like he had some like fast walker, but kind of like I'd like to be that age where young people give me their arm. I think I'm too young for that right now. A little too able-bodied, but feel like I'm getting there. Liz is suggesting the movie Wild Orchid, which is different than Wild Orchard. Okay, so let me share a couple of things from Utopia. One of these I'm going to have to make into some of it is visual, but I'll share anyway. So I shared. It's probably not news to you that I am visible in the Burning Man community. And so sometimes I get to be the punchline of jokes. Sometimes it's almost always good-natured and hilarious, and I love it. And I'm trying like a collection of things that have happened. And years ago at Utopia, they had a map of the stars, and it had like Paris Hilton and it had Halcyon. So I was like, I was like the real human, the participant included in this joke. It was like, oh. And at the Burn this year, I went to a porta potty, and there was this fake porta potty magazine cover, and one of the headlines said, "Which smells worse, Deep Playa Portos or Halcyon's BO?" Something like that. And I was like, oh my God, like that's like. Then again, I was also, a picture of me crying was in that sticker that came out during the Renegade year, where they were making fun of me for saying, "Don't go to the playa," and a picture of me with snot all over my face. And that one was less fun for a number of reasons. But this year at Utopia, someone, excuse me, made this really cool. They must have made the whole thing, maybe? I don't know. But there was, first it had like a sign that looked like a national park sign, but it said Utopia. And if it looked just like one of those wooden national park signs. And then next to it, they had one of those like info boards, like those wood, it's like a glass case that they have like by trails, with here are native plants and here are dangerous snakes to look out for, and here are like the rules. And you've seen those, right? With the trailheads of hikes. Now, backstory: this venue is a nudist resort. Many people live there, nudists. Year-round nudists live there. And they just revoked the nudist rule. So it's there's no longer clothing optional. So that was a big issue. And there was like a parade, march in favor of nudism this time. But on this board, there was a thing saying, please report all clothing-free animals or all naked animals. And it had a picture of like a coyote with like a little censored block in front of, its crotch area. It had a snake with like a little, black block on part of the snake. It had a raccoon with a block on it, and it had a picture of me at Burning Man with a block over me. Now, I was clothed in the picture, but it was a iconic picture of me dancing on top of the Hugmobile. So no, it didn't say my name, but there was these, and as a teeny tiny part of this incredibly genius, funny art installation that someone had to show me. Someone goes, let me show you something. And took me on this trail to show me that thing and waited until I saw my picture. And I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking cool. I am super proud to be a cartoon in the Burning Man world. Gerbot's turning 47? Nice. I am 52 and a half. Is that right? What month is it? No, I'm not 52 and a half yet. I'm 52. I also did, should I save some of these stories for tomorrow? Monday, probably. Hi, Zoe. How are you feeling, Zoe? Are you in the hospital? Are you home? Sending you lots of love and gentle, gentle hugs. Good morning, David. David says, I'm so grateful to be here with you, still able to share ourselves on this platform, have transformative events to travel to, and able to create sacred, safe spaces for our community in Chicago. We are blessed to have these freedoms to share still after all these years. Yes. I definitely have gratitude for, even in what sometimes feels like an oppressive society and world, that there's a lot of pockets of freedom. And it is important to create and cultivate and protect those containers. So let's see, I'll share a couple food things. So our camp, Pink Heart, we did, years ago we went to, I think everyone, at the gate, they said, oh, Pink Heart's here. Are you guys doing anything this year? And I said, well, we've got pink lemonade and we're doing pancakes. And they go, pink lemonade pancakes? And we said, oh, no. Wait. So that year, instead of, we added the frozen pink lemonade as like the liquid to the pancake mix and made pink lemonade pancakes. And they're like lemon cakes that you can eat without syrup with your hands, and they're freaking awesome. So that's kind of a tradition now. So we made pink lemonade pancakes as part of a big brunch that we shared with our neighbors, Bottoms Up and Friends of RW. So that was super fun. And then the other food later that day, I went to a different camp. I'm not sure which camp it was, but they had a taco glory hole. So you get down on your knees and yell through the hole, meat or vegan, and then they you have an anonymous taco shoved in your mouth, which I had to do it. I had to do it. Go enjoy pumpkin hunting, Natasha. And then it's the sports ball. Oh, is it sports ball season? Speaking of sports ball, and I mentioned this last week, I still have the last episode to watch, but boy, have I enjoyed the Beckham series on Netflix. And I don't know, I didn't know anything about that guy. I did play soccer as a kid, but never watched any professional soccer sports. What was I going to look? Let me check out my photos if there's anything that will jog my memory about the event. I got 2 flat tires. There's these like goat's head spikes, like burrs. And I brought my e-bike and I rode around. Most of the event, had a blast. And then the last night that I was there, Friday night, I got both front and back flats. There was a camp on the corner. It's called Danger Zone. I think that's called. And when I first walked by, there was these kids saying, "Want some dangerous candy?" And that's a terrible kid's voice. I need to work on my impressions. They were adorable. And I walk up and they have like super sour balls and Red Hots and like spicy type candies. So I'm like, oh, cool, Danger Zone. But then I looked at their other things that they had there, and they have like what are those things that you get locked in, and for the town hall, and had fruit thrown at you. And they had like a whipping station. They had cactus twister. So a twister wheel, a twister board, like on the ground, and then little cactuses between. And I laughed. I thought it was a visual joke. And then I saw people playing. People actually played Twister with cacti all over the ground around on the board. Very cool. There was also, related to that, there was Mousetrap Jenga, where there's this platform with, 100 little mousetraps, and you had to set the mousetrap and then stack them until they went. I did not play either the mousetrap or the cactus, but I watched both and was appreciative of both. Okay, everyone, it is 9:50 on the West Coast. It is probably time for us to head into our days with feelings of gratitude and appreciation and empowerment and peace and recognition that we are love ambassadors. And so if you can take a little bit of this energy that we've confirmed and generated in one another and just make that a little bit of the message that you bring to the world through your kind eyes and your smile and your words and your gratitude, your thank yous and your good mornings, well then, hey, then today's a win, and we have been agents of change in the direction of positivity. Day after day of that, and I tell you what, that's a Grandpa Caleb path. So wherever you are, wait, before we do the hug, Zoe says, I am grateful to be home and to simply be alive. Nothing like a near-death experience to strengthen your gratitude practice. I've heard that from a couple people lately. And one of the beautiful things about a group gratitude practice is that it's nothing like having the experience, but simply you sharing it, I think, is a reset for others. So, thank you, Zoe. Gearbot says he saw milk crate stacking and climbing this year. Man, as Murdoch said in Lethal Weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit. Is that who said that? I don't know. Okay, wherever you are, let's give ourselves a hug. Feel this gratitude for this moment of being connected and being reminded and being reflected and soothing the struggles, releasing the shame, knowing that we're all humaning, we're all doing our best. We're all in a journey of triumphs and weakness and growth. And let's forgive ourselves and forgive others and feel part of this connected human experience as we take a deep breath in and squeeze one another. And feel us squeezing you. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and you, beautiful love ambassador, thanks for being here for this Love Morning Hug Nation practice. I love you. As I said, I am in town for the time being, so I will be participating in gratitude circles at noon and 6, and these morning practices on a daily basis whenever possible, which pretty much is every day. Check me out at johnston.com to find more stuff, including those podcasts I mentioned, YouTube channel, books, etc. I love you.